Just let a couple of lads through going into McDonald's, and first they waved at me and then they did a little double take, like, what is he driving? Anyway, yeah, McDonald's is the other test. Let's see what they make of it. Alright mate, how you doing? Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Ah. Oh, you liked it. Hello everybody and welcome to number 27. Today I'm finally going to get my first drive in my super cheap camouflage Mercedes 300 CE. So purpose of the day really is just to go out there, get a better look at it. If I have time, I'll look underneath. I don't know if I will have time today, but also importantly, take it for a drive, see what it actually drives like. Well, here it is, and today is actually quite important because this is the first test. So I got to decide whether it's worth spending the money on this car to get it painted, although I'm going to do most of the stuff myself. It's still quite an investment. And so this first drive is going to give me an idea of the general condition. Is it going to be worth doing anything with, or should I just get rid of it? The W124s, they were really at the time when Merc was absolutely at its peak of producing bulletproof, incredibly well built cars. I mean, these are just legendary for that reason. They're like, you know, they're like bank vaults. Definitely not happy on the idle. It's just sort of stumbling a little bit. But yeah, they were brilliantly built and absolutely fantastic cars, really. Now, when they first came out, there was a variety of engine options. I'm not going to go into the diesels because I don't know and don't particularly care. I know they're good, probably, but not interested. So there was the 2 petrol versions, 2 litre, 2.3 litre, and those were 4 cylinders, and they're generally regarded as less desirable than the 6 cylinders. On the 6-cylinder side, there was a 2.6 and a 3 litre. From 1992 onwards, all the engines, all the 3 litres are upgraded to 24 valves, and they changed to 2.8s and 3.2s. Now this is, I think, a 1991 car, which has some real advantages and some disadvantages. The disadvantages that, I don't know if you can hear it, it is boomy. The disadvantage is that it's the 12 valve, is it 12 valve? It's the normal engine, 3 litre engine, so it's not going to be particularly quick. The advantage is that the cars after 1991 all suffered from what they call the chocolate wiring loom, and that is that the wiring loom is just, I don't know what happened, but when Merc did the facelift in 91, they also changed suppliers or whatever, or changed the specifications of the wiring loom, and after many years it just degrades and it has to be changed. The cost of that is about £1,000. I'm not sure of the exact year. I do think it's 91, so just before facelift, and I had a look at the wiring that I could get to, and it all seems to be okay, so that would be a major plus. Now, driving around, first thing that becomes apparent is that the wheel isn't sitting straight. Could be a really easy question of perhaps just getting the geo done. That's the most likely. I hope it doesn't have like a bent arm or trap rod end like my other Merc did. That exhaust, Lucas, who sold it to me in the advert, he said it's a bit louder but not offensive. Yeah, I mean, it's not offensive, but I don't think it really does much for the car. So you basically, you can hear it, it's quite boomy. It just doesn't really suit this car, so I'll be looking to replace that. It rides really well, and I haven't really found any, well, I haven't heard any knocks or clunks or anything like that, which is really encouraging. You put your foot down, oh, there it's just kicked down, 4,000 RPM. Oh, it's moving okay, actually. I mean, it's not fast, but it was moving all right, and the engine sort of feels pretty smooth. So on top of being really well built, actually, they had really trick rear suspension. It was a multi-link unit, as used in the 190 in the smaller car. If anything, this is driving, in terms of how it's turning, it's better than I expected, because it's actually turning quite well. Maybe I presume these are lower profile than the standard wheels would be. They give it a little bit of sharpness, but it doesn't lean too much. I thought it would be more wallowy, so that's a big tick there as well. Now the brakes don't feel quite right. I wouldn't say they're awful, but something isn't quite right. Also, the accelerator doesn't feel right either. There's just a lot of free travel before it actually picks up and responds. So, but you know what? It actually drives pretty well. When I sort of took it around the yard for the last video, and it was just backwards and forwards a few feet and stuff, and it felt a little bit loose. It didn't, because that throttle response isn't right. I think the way there's just some looseness there in the, definitely in the throttle pedal, and the brakes squeal at low speeds, but they don't seem to squeal at high speeds. Just doing a bit of harder braking. That seemed okay. I don't know. Maybe the pads just need sort of sanding down at the edges and bedding in again. Rides supremely well. Actually, you know what? I really rather like it. I really do. I'm quite happy with it. Well, I've just taken it to get some fuel because it is very much in reserve. I don't know if this has a reserve light that works or not, but anyway, fuel next, and it will have to be the good stuff because I'm sure this can't handle 10%, what's it called, ethanol. I noticed some really jealous looks while I was filling up. I think in particular the Mercedes guys were sort of really saying to themselves, why on earth didn't I get that? Ooh, come on, don't be a... Okay, yeah, they were sort of wishing that they'd got the Polish Wonder. That's not a name, by the way, it's just because we haven't got one yet. It started to idle a bit erratically, I would say, not quite as smoothly as before. So now I've taken it out of drive, it's sort of settled down to a less lumpy idle. Yeah, when it's in drive it doesn't like it and the engine is almost stalling. Okay. Merc, will it be the Bismarck? Darth Vader? The 303? Frank? Definitely not happy at slow speeds. I think people constantly, I could see them all slowing down as I was manoeuvring, and I think that they all just look in wonder at this car and just think, you know, why hasn't it been done before? It drives supremely well. I am so amazed, frankly. It turns in really nicely. It's comfortable. The driving position I need to sort out, and I don't know where the adjusters are for the... Oh, there. Does it work? No. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, I'll have to have a look at that switch. It just feels sticky. But, yeah, it's slow, but it drives really well. There's that sort of problem at idle. But generally speaking, not bad at all. I do like this. Could it be that I could end up keeping it? Who knows? To be honest, I really like the Tomato as well, and I'm not happy about having to let go of that. So it's holding on to the gears way more than it should. I don't know if it's because I was accelerating quicker than it would have liked. Maybe it's just a driving style thing. I was reading up about gearbox issues with these, and apparently if they do hold on to gears, it can actually be a serious problem. It just says walk away, so maybe it's not just changing the oil. But it also says if they don't change gear and you can hear noises and stuff, and I can't hear any noises, so I'm hopeful that, you know, maybe just a gearbox service is what it needs. actually great. Bit of wind noise, but also I have a camera outside, so that won't be helping. Right, well, apart from the boomy exhaust, first impressions are really good. So good that I've decided to actually go somewhere and get some lunch. And I wasn't sure the first time I took it out if I trusted it enough to drive it anywhere particularly far, but I'm all right. I got good feeling about it. Anyway, I'm gonna go get some lunch and also put some proper petrol in, because the other petrol that they only had the cheap stuff, and I'm worried that that's gonna melt something in the car, so I want to sort that out. That exhaust is massively annoying. And yeah, what next? Well, potentially for the next video I could take it to Ollie at PCS. I don't know if you saw the video where I took my S500 there. He did suggest to bring it down and I'll look it over for you, which is really kind of him. The one I had two provisos before. The first, I was worried about whether this would make it down there, because it's a 2.5 hour trip. But also, to be honest, I'm still worried about that. When I took my S500 there, which was a really good car, it's cheap, but it was very good for what it was. I'd already had it checked by Mercedes themselves, and you know, they confirmed it was pretty good. There wasn't that much needed doing. When he saw it, God, he found loads of other stuff that needed doing. So I'm dreading him looking at this a little bit, if I have to be completely honest. Because, you know, Ollie, if you look at this, you're going to have to be kind, buddy. It's also a question of time, but we'll see. Anyhow, I really look forward to seeing you for the next one. I'm massively enthused now about this project. Can't wait to see what name you pick out. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you need to contact me about anything, if you know about any parts for this car, for example, going cheap, like some wheels, I really want some AMG wheels, or a leather interior, although I think it's just going to be too expensive. Or if you just want to contact me, ask me questions, or give me some advice on stuff you've heard on the video, then Instagram is the best way. See you soon.